when I was on commercial break, my wife was talking to me, and my wife and I both take the view that we should be willing and able to understand the argument of the other side. Like, I find pro-lifers tend to be better able to articulate the view of the pro-abortion side than the pro-abortion side is of pro-lifers. The pro-abortion side tends to stereotype pro-lifers as Bible thumpers who want to control women's bodies. They can't acknowledge that there's validity to the argument that the child in utero is actually a human being. They don't really want to understand the argument. They just stereotype it. My wife tries, we try to be able to understand the other side's argument as best we can so that we can, particularly with our kids, provide our kids a rational explanation of why we disagree. And the only way to provide a rational explanation of why our worldview and our views and our ideas disagree with someone on the other side is to fairly understand and articulate the other side's point of view. And we both have a real hard time on the gun control argument. Because if I were in that grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, I would want my gun with me. I got a concealed carry Glock 43, and I would want that gun with me if I was in that grocery store. Even if I was hiding. No, I'm not saying, and this is one of the ideas that, again, the left tends to always stereotype the other side, and so they don't really understand us. The left would think, oh, well, I'm going to go guns blazing and try to stop the shooter. No, I would want to hold up somewhere and hide if I had my kids, them behind me. And if the shooter came with his gun, try to defend my family and surprise the shooter, if nothing else, and try to shoot the shooter before he can shoot me. Not go find the guy, not go hunt him down. If I'm in my home and someone breaks into my house and I call 911, it could be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes before they get there. I want to make sure I've got a gun to defend my family. And the left routinely tries to come up with arguments, well, you don't need the AR-15. You know, the majority of handgun violence in this country is through handguns. They dance around that argument, or they decide that, you know what, we should round up all the guns. We should do a mandatory gun buyback. We should repeal the Second Amendment, which you're not going to do. All these things, well, you're going to take law-abiding citizens' guns away. You're not going to take criminals' guns away. And part of me wonders if in the back of their mind, and the thing not spoken is, well, yeah, but, you know, the bad guys, they're in gangs and they'll kill each other. Or there's some level of pejorative argument the left doesn't want to articulate. I have a hard time with this one. In large part because we do have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. The Supreme Court has said it's an individual right. Unlike abortion, it's actually a right you can find in the Constitution written there. And yet they continue to want to repeal gun laws. They want to curtail the right to own, to keep and bear arms. They want to do these things. And really, I think they keep Australia. Australia did a gun buyback. Yeah, but Australia doesn't have a Second Amendment. All these other countries don't have a Second Amendment. And you don't want to repeal the Second Amendment. You know you can't repeal the Second Amendment. I have a hard time relating to this. And I honestly think that one of the things we as a country need to do is think different. Instead of trying to confiscate people's guns and make it harder, we should make everyone in this country own a gun and know how to use it. Give everyone a gun. Federally allocated handgun. Every single American gets a gun. But in condition to gun ownership, you got to go learn gun safety and how to use it and when not to use it. Arm every American citizen so that when the shooter goes into the grocery store, they know that 10 out of 10 people in that grocery store are going to have a gun on them. Good luck, buddy. And now, when I say this, the left gets hysterical. People scream, that's just out of your mind. But listen, all of the solutions that the gun control people have are, we've got to confiscate guns, we've got to make it harder to own, pay no attention to the Second Amendment, let's curtail the right. And I'm thinking, no, we've got the right. We've got more guns than people circulating in this country. You're never going to stop the bad guy from getting someone's gun. They're never going to hand in their gun. So a well-armed citizenry is probably much safer than a completely unarmed citizenry. Let's have every single American own a gun. Make them learn how to use it safely, learn gun safety, and then let's see what happens. Well, we can't do that because, the genie in the bottle. The myth of Pandora's box, the guns are already here. They're already out of Pandora's box. You're never going to close Pandora's box again. So instead, let's get everybody a gun. That's my solution to gun control, is teach everyone how to control their gun and make sure they own one. Use government grant, get everybody a gun. Give it to them for free. Every single American. No felony. And you know, once you do that, then of course the Democrats say, well, former felons, we should give them guns too. It's right, you know, that they get there eventually. Okay, give every American a gun. Teach them how to use it instead of doing all this gun control nonsense. That seems to me to be a better, more thoughtful solution than let's do all sorts of unconstitutional things, or let's take all the law-abiding citizens' guns away from them and let the criminals have them, or hey, let's take this gun that I don't like or understand. You know, it's got clips. It doesn't have magazines. It has clips. And that's what I'm going to say. And it's black. It needs to be pink, and then it won't look scary, and then you can have it. I mean, that was essentially the assault weapons ban, is if you changed the styling of an AR-15 and painted it pink, it was acceptable. But if it looked like an AR-15 and it was spooky black, well, then it was banned. It never made any sense to begin with.